I truly want to say after watching a Kyoto Animation again, it made me realize how good Kyoto Ani was at producing.
I look at this from like a photographer's perspective. That's just a level of attention to detail that I have never seen before.
The last time I checked Netflix was for anime, there was only Violet Evergarden. Watching anime now, I look at Violet Evergarden like this is where the opinion of anime shifts from Violet Evergarden. These stories that may be harsh, may be beautiful, may be detrimental, may be tragic, but may be insightful. That's what anime ended up being for us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Uneducation Station. Of course, my name is Zach, and I am here with Arthur.
I am Arthur.
And welcome to another episode of us.
And we're your backyard friends. The backyard again. something songs.
Careful, DMCA.
Sorry, I don't know. I just thought of that when you said we were doing that. I'm Zach. I'm Arthur. I'm Pablo. I don't know why I thought of that. That's pretty funny. I don't know. That's really funny.
So
what a great show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, proceed. I'm so sorry. I'm a mess today.
I was gonna say you're running on no sleep and a dream today.
Yeah. Well, no dream actually, because there was no sleep.
No sleep, no dream.
No sleep, no dream.
Head empty.
Head empty. No thoughts. Head empty. Yeah. So I as I've explained, I don't know if I explained in the podcast. But I'm pretty sure that people know your boy's sleep schedule is not really
the best.
The best. Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently it's gotten worse.
Oh,
you know why, Zach? It's because I killed Demon Slayer season 2 in one sitting at 1 a.m. And ever since then, I've not recovered.
Yeah, dude,
So-
it's so crazy. It'll take me like days to get back to like a normal sleep schedule after I do something like that.
Dude, it's been weeks. Wait, has it? I don't even know anymore. Zach,
No, it was Saturday night is when you binged Demon Slayer.
No,
Because it
was
was
the Saturday night before. Was it Saturday night? No, not this Saturday. Last week? Has it only been a week? Dude, I swear it has not just been a week. I swear it's been like 2 weeks. I don't know anymore, dude. You know, Zach, after I've done this, I've done a lot of all-nighters in my time, right? You know, did a lot of things. Usually I would edit, but I decided not to edit and quick break the fourth wall. That's why the episode we didn't have an episode yesterday, because I was going to work on it, and then I was like, I feel like for my mental capacity, I feel like this would be a bad idea. I'm not sure why, but I have this funny feeling in my tailbone that if I had a tail, it would be wagging in a certain direction of which would indicate that this would be a bad idea.
Why does that make so much sense?
I know, right? So I promise you, I do not do any sort of drug and or illicit medication. I take gummy vitamins every now and then.
Bro, you're high on them Flintstones gummies right now.
Hey man, they're pretty good. if they weren't medicine, I'd chow down on those bitches, bro.
Bro, I
feel like that's a dangerous thing. Maybe they shouldn't make it that tasty.
So I'll let you get back to what you were talking about. This is just like a quick little tangent. I saw a video of someone who had like those melatonin gummies, like those little 10 milligram melatonin gummies. And they just were snacking on them.
Oh,
and they ate like 3/4 of the container.
Oh,
and they were like, I'm really hoping that I wake up tomorrow.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah, so I feel it. And like I am definitely guilty of like,
gotta get the Welch's fruit snacks is lying around, man. Gotta have them lying around. I don't have them lying around. That's what's dangerous. I feel like everybody needs to have some fruit snacks lying around if they're taking gummies. You know,
gotta get your fix.
They
need to make like, especially for those melatonin gummies, because I've had them before and they're really, really dank. They should have.
I've never had one.
I mean, it's like it's a artificial like cherry flavored gummy.
Right.
And so I feel like there should be a company out there that makes gummies that taste like those vitamins, like the multivitamins, but they
just don't contain the vitamins.
Yeah.
Or in the excess. So you're telling me that there is something of which is cherry that tastes good?
Yes.
Now, this seems like a contradictory.
I mean, if it's a artificial cherry never tastes like an actual cherry.
It's true.
It just tastes like red. And what does red taste like?
To me,
okay,
cherry,
wait. The pink lemonade. What does pink taste
Zach,
like?
don't start this, Zach. I'm pretty sure I've already argued this before. I don't know. But it tastes great, and you can use code NORTH if you'd like to try it out for yourself.
Okay, we're going down a hole. Let's backpedal out of here real quick.
I decide, so I decide not to edit anything. I have a lot of things I need to work on, but I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I just feel like it would just not be very healthy if I just sat there and looked at a screen for 6, 7, 8 hours.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll hold it off this time. We'll just do one episode this week, and I think we'll be okay. But and it'll be the Demon Slayer episode, so it'll be a banger. It doesn't matter. Anyways. No one cares because that episode's already out. So
it's hard to think in the future.
It is hard to. It's hard to think, Zach. Right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that. I'm. Is he playing it up just for content?
No way.
No way. No, I'm fucking tired. But the tired Dookie is the best Dookie. I promise you. So, you know, I swear to you, I'm not high, but after having taken this all-nighter, I started to think about the concept of time and how it's just like, dude, how do I even explain it? It's weird, dude. It's so fucking weird. Like I'm forcing myself to wake up, and we just had this right now because we had planned to shoot yesterday,
right?
And you were busy that day, so but you were still able to make it if we recorded early.
Yeah,
we discussed that beforehand, obviously, to figure out when we record, because he doesn't just knock on my door, hey, on Ed time, and I'm like,
sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that happens. It has not happened in a while though. That was early on Ed days. Early on Ed days was me waking up to you, and then you'd be like, wake up, bro. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm just kidding. But I was like, okay, cool, we'll start early. And then for some reason, Zach, Monday just disappeared. Monday never happened, or that day just didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, tomorrow, which would be today, Tuesday, we're gonna shoot early at 11. All right, cool. And well, I'm not only am I gonna wake up early, Zach, I'm not gonna fucking sleep. So this is perfect,
dude. Okay, it's so funny because you texted me at like, I don't know, 11:15.
I think so. Yeah,
like
something
that.
Around there.
And you were like, hello, and I was like, good morning, because I just thought that you got up early,
super nonchalant, like, yo, what's good? And I'm like,
you were like, you texted me at like an hour later, and you're like, so we're not shooting early today? And I was like, wait, did I tell him that we were gonna shoot early today? And then I had to like go through the conversation that we had a couple days prior, and I was like, oh God, wait, hang on. And I tried to explain it over text, and like anyone who has ever had an extensive text message conversation with me knows that the translation of the big thinkies to the typies never fucking works.
This is true. I'm not faulting you, but this is true. I'm pretty good at texting myself. I typed a lot of DMs in my time, Zach. A lot of emails to professors every now and then. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good at typing.
I'm good at typing, just not forming sentences.
That's fair. Arno's English too, by the way. I don't know.
We get it. But yeah, I was trying to like text you like at red lights when I was on my way over here.
I mean, no, he didn't.
I mean,
no, he didn't. He did. He waited until he parked every single time he had to text me.
Yeah, I would pull over on the side of the road, respond to a text message, and then go on my merry way.
Of course.
It took me 2 hours to get here. But yeah, and then when I showed up, we finally like realized what had happened.
Yeah.
And like,
no, you explained to me and I was like, oh.
And like,
wow.
I mean,
that happened.
With the context of you pulling an all-nighter, like I totally understand how that misconception happened, because when you pull an all-nighter, it's just one long day.
Yeah.
Like you don't have that separation between like, you know, for you Monday and Tuesday. It just feels like a really long Monday, which is the worst.
That's what I'm getting at, right? Is because the concept of time, I'm just sitting there like I didn't sleep at all, and it didn't really feel like yesterday happened. It did, it just kind of felt like it's just another. Yeah, yesterday was Sunday.
Yeah,
but it was, but like, had I woken up, because on Monday I woke up late too.
Mm-hmm.
Woke up at like 2 p.m. Zach. So I woke up late. So imagine if you wake up late and then go to bed early, or no, you wake up late and you go to bed early. What happened to that day? That was like a 6-hour day, Zach.
It just got like,
yeah, just like never happened. You know, or 6, 7, 8 hours. Not even 12-hour. Not even a 12-hour day. It just never happened.
Right.
So so imagine just like not sleeping at all. Would it still never happen, or would it just been a really long day? Well, for me, I even remember what I did that day. I had an eye appointment. And I had an eyeball appointment. I picked out new glasses.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It was cool. And it was during President's Day. Dude, President's Day never fucking happened. But it was during
it was President's Day?
I know, right? So I was at the mall because that's where the eye place is that I go to now. And it was really busy, and it ended up being like 2 hours my entire trip there. I was like, oh my gosh. I was just an hour waiting in the waiting room because there was only one doctor on staff. I was like, wow, this is crazy as heck. Like, of course I wasn't like, excuse me, hello, I need you to look at my eyeballs, please. I have things to do. I don't have things to do. So I decided to wait. So, it's all good. And I had a chat with the doctor, like, oh, what's real busy? Oh, yeah, I know, right, man, shit. Man, fuck, man, shit. That's not really how the conversation went, but I'm paraphrasing.
Dude, I would love for that to be a conversation that I had with like one of my doctors.
Shit, man, fuck. Yeah, shit, man, fuck, man. Yeah, shit, man. Yeah. And shit, all right, have a good day, man. Shit, man. Nothing happened. I just walked in.
What the fuck, man?
What the fuck, man? Shit, man. Walk back out. All right, damn shit. Dude, go get some bubble tea, man. Fuck, man. Shit.
Dude, it's so crazy because like I've explained this. I feel like I've explained it to you too. But when you're young, your days feel really, really, really long.
Yes.
Because you don't like the portion of your life that a day takes up is exponentially more, when you're younger.
Yes.
And so as you get older,
you have to wake up early, no matter what time you go to bed, you have to wake up before, for your first class.
Right.
So, even if you can't just stay up and then, well, I mean, you could, but that wouldn't be a good thing, right? So now that would literally make your day longer because of that, but also routines and homework, class, club room type activities that you add
Club
on.
Penguin.
Club, that too, that you add on to your things that you are going to do that day already.
Right.
So like if you were gonna have like a game session with your boys and go to the skate park, or you're gonna go to or you're gonna play piano or guitar or do basketball, whatever you're gonna do, or with the boys or the gym or whatever you're gonna do, that's stacked on top of what you have to do for school and homework and club activities and extracurricular, right?
Right.
So it makes, when you're trying to wedge everything into a day, it's like, whoa, that's a lot of shit to do.
Dude, I remember when we would have gaming sessions when we were still in school, it would be at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing. That was totally fine. And like last night, I got on Counter-Strike at like 1.
Yeah.
Alec was on, Jackson was on, Logan was on. Mm-hmm. And they were just in a Discord together, and I just kind of like hopped in and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yes.
But like even in high school, and like, I guess the reason why I am kind of thinking about that a lot right now is because I'm thinking like what I looked like 5 years ago versus what I look like now.
Sure.
Like it's insane. Mm-hmm. I look like a different person, and it's really funny when I show people my ID from when I was 16 and they're like,
dude, you don't even want to know. My ID is currently on one of the ceiling tiles of Mr. Peddler's room. Do you remember Mr. Peddler?
Yeah.
He was tall and bald and he did foods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very cool teacher. I love him to death. He's super cool. Still remembers me, which makes me happy. And yeah, basically, a little weird, but kind of funny. Different times, right? I don't know how it happened to this day. I cannot remember because honestly, that class was a blur. Because I'm shit at cooking, but it was a lot of fun. but I didn't really remember very much, but it was fun. I only remember certain things, like how I had a friend who would just put sriracha in every single one of her foods, and then I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, "Trust me," and she did it, and I tried it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is fire!"
You're like, "Oh my god, you were right."
You just put sriracha on anything, and it makes it taste better. What the fuck? And just it was just a great time, and then at some point, we were talking about IDs because for the same reason, like, oh, we look really goofy back then,
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were showing each other our IDs because I had mine on hand because I had all of my IDs in my wallet for some reason.
Bro, I did too.
Okay, I thought, okay, now I was about to say it, but I was like, wait, is that weird?
Okay.
I don't know because where else am I going to put it? I'm like 14. Like where?
Okay, so it's really funny that you bring that up because the thing that I used to do is, I used to have like a trifold wallet, and it would have like the little the little clear thing where you could put your ID. It's meant for a driver's license, but
14, 13.
Yeah. And so I would just stack them on top of each other in there. And I had the same wallet for like 5 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, I would just kind of keep all of them in there.
For sure.
And so, after a while, my wallet became a chunk because I kept all my IDs, all my gift cards, just like everything that was like supposed to go in a wallet.
Well, I feel like that's what everybody did because not everybody, minimalist wallet vibes weren't really the thing yet. Although I had a couple, but like I have one too. Yours is still pretty substantial, but to be fair,
I mean, it's not like one of those really, really cool, nice ones, but
well, I mean, I don't have one either, but I these days I do my best to do Apple Pay and stuff. I've tried to get into the habit of that now, just for because of health reasons, of course.
Oh yeah,
pandemic stuff, and then also it's kind of fun. I enjoy tech, so it's like I don't have to whip out my wallet and take my card out. And the skin's already peeling off of it already. I'm like, oh fuck me. Even though I don't use it very much, it's because it's sticking out, and I'm like, okay, and then I have to put it in, and for some reason, chip takes so damn long to authenticate. So I'm like. I'm just sitting here like, please wait. I'm like, do not remove the card. I'm like,
I have those days where I just don't want to say a word to another human being. And those moments where you just don't want to interact with another human being, and you're also waiting for your chip to do chip stuff.
It's like I work customer service. I know all about this.
Yeah, it's a different kind of struggle because you're just standing there staring at the little screen, waiting very, very impatiently for it to do its thing.
Yes.
And then the second that you hear the you're just like, nah. And then you're just like, get me the hell out of here.
It's not a lot of customers are like that, and it's not because they're rude. It's just I'm like that too. Sometimes I just want my thing, and I'm gonna sit my ass down or go back to my car. I just I don't really want I had to be here today to do something to get clothes from this other store, and I just want to treat myself to this drink, and then I'm gonna get my ass back home, right? You can recognize that, especially if you work customer service a lot. So that's why my customer service style, as I've explained before, is goated, but that's not to just suck my own dick, but it's just because it's just that good.
Yeah, it's just
that good,
Yeah.
But in the sense that I don't try and force anything. I don't try and force a conversation. I don't try and force this pretend happiness. And I really want, if you can shift my light, it's not pointing at me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't want to pretend like the worst thing in the world. And I'm sure anybody who is like me, who is social, but not necessarily the most social, you go to a party and you enter a group and they try and get you to speak, but you're just kind of there to hang out, but you don't really want to, but you kind of do want to social, but you're not really want to, and you're just like, where am I at? But I don't really want to talk very much. I'm just here to have a good time. And you guys are great, but I'm just kind of vibing,
I think,
but not really.
Yeah.
But the point is just that, I noticed that they don't want to speak because they got things to do, or they just don't want to be here. And I'm like, all right, no worries. I'll say, hey, how are you? And they're like, I'm good. All right, cool. End of conversation. That's it. Orders, I do their order. All right, have a good one. It's all it needs to be. And, you know,
I think there's something to being comfortable with silence when you're interacting with other people. And, you know, there are times when I'm like hanging out with anybody where I'm just like, I'm just enjoying this person's company, you know, or like, you know, you're at the store and you're just kind of meandering along. And I'm a little bit more outgoing when it comes to like customer service people. Sure. Just because, you know, I want to try to like make it as positive of an experience for them because I know the type of shit that they have to deal with on a day to day.
Right. Yeah. Well, yours is a little different. I'm in a bubble tea stand. You know, my what I have to do is a little different.
Well, I mean, and I'm not even talking about work like exclusively. I'm talking about even just like going to the store, getting an energy drink or something. You know, like I want to make sure that like, you know, if they're having a shitty day, then, you know, I can at least attempt to put a smile on their face or something like that. Sure. I guess that's just kind of like the type of person that I am. But, you know, even if it's just like they're just like not having it, they're just ready to go home, I'm just like, I feel you. Like, I get it.
For sure.
It's just like you kind of have to gauge where that fine line is between too much and not enough. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to force a conversation with anybody. And especially if I'm like approaching somebody else or like, you know, vice versa. Of
course.
It's just kind of, you know, if they want to talk to me, they can talk to me. If they don't, then I'll go on my merry way.
Right.
And just kind of knowing where that middle ground is kind of tricky sometimes because, you know, you see that person that looks very, very unapproachable. And then they end up being like the most genuinely chill person ever. Yeah. And it's just like, all right, cool.
The guy looks like super thugged out or something. And then you talk to him like, how are you, man? I'm like, whoa. And then his daughter comes from around the corner and hugs him. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening right now?
Why did this become so wholesome all of a sudden? You know, it's like you'll meet those people who are the perfect example of don't judge a book by its cover. And like we've talked about this in many different areas, but it's with people too. Like, you know, you see someone who's just absolutely blasted in tattoos. You know, he's got
big as shit, 230 pounds, goes to the gym more times than he is not at the gym. You're like, wow, this guy's probably a fucking asshole. And, and he's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, whoa, I'm good. Hey, that's good. Nice.
Yeah, or like, you know, they just end up being super chill and, you know, like, I think that's what's really cool about kind of going about life with the mentality that I do, where I'm like, the way that I try to carry myself in social situations is very similar to the way that my grandma was, because she would go anywhere and she would just kind of talk to anyone and act like she's known them for her entire life, you know, and like she was the type of person that never met strangers. And I thought that was really cool. And, you know, seeing that from the outside, it's like, that's such a cool, awesome, happy way to live. And just like, you know, being very open and accepting of other people and being okay with putting yourself out there and just like trying to make people's days better. And so that's kind of the way that I look at it. And so it's like, you know, I'm very kind of nonchalant with the interactions that I have with other people. It's like, you know, if you don't really feel like talking, that's totally chill. I'll just meander my way along and just like, you know, go about my day.
Great people. That's all I gotta say. I kind of lost where I was going, but
dude, it's totally fine.
It's okay. I'm just lost today. I'm having another sip of my tea. My hot jasmine honey tea that I'm not sure if it's jasmine or not.
My hot honey with a side of tea.
My jasmine hot with a hot honey side of cup. So
what?
I was up late, as I explained.
Right.
And what I did was I watched some anime, Zach.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. I decided to, you know what? I would have a go. Well, first, Zach, interesting, Zach. So shout out to Matthew if you're watching this. I don't know if you are, but I'm a homie of mine online, and he let me borrow his Netflix account. And I was like, okay. I asked him. So I asked my boys, hey, do y'all have a Netflix I can borrow? And he's like, well, I'll make one. I'm like, no, you don't gotta make one. He's like, well, I'll just use it anyway. So it's like, and I'm gonna use it, so you guys use it real quick, because I'm only gonna. I'm never the guy to mooch off of people, but at the same time, I'm not gonna watch. Like, I don't. Not that I don't like the things on Netflix, but I just, one, barely have time to watch anime, and two, I'm not gonna have time to watch shows. So I wanted to watch Inside from Bo Burnham.
Oh.
So that was why. So I was like, okay, hey, does anyone have a Netflix? I just want to watch this really quick, and then, that'll be it. And then, yeah, you can use, I'll just do blah, 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 and cool. Shout out to Matthew for letting me use it. Fast forward to last night, I had the urge to start, because there's a show I've talked about a lot, maybe not here, but a lot, that is probably one of the most visually stunning and one of the most monumental shows probably in anime, I would say, dare I say. And I have not finished it yet, but I had to stop it during school times. It's called Violet Evergarden.
Oh.
I think I've mentioned it to you before.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it's a lot of people just like, let's go. Drake clapping gif. Let's go. Shia
LaBeouf.
So it's one of those things where I had no reason at all. Like Angel Beats that one time. I was just like, I'm just going to watch this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I know it's sad. I know it's all this and all that, but I just don't know why, but I want to watch this, and I want to watch it now.
That was how it was when I watched Angel Beats.
Right. It was just like, I have so many things. There's a current season that's, of all sorts of shows that are airing right now that I still need to catch up on. I have shows that I need to catch up from previous seasons. I have shows that I want to watch. But I'm sitting here like, I really want to watch Violet why? I don't know. But I do. So I did. But before I did that, Zach, I actually watched, since I was on Netflix, like, you know what, fuck it, why not? And I watched Make Happy Bo Burnham, just for fun.
Dude.
Okay. It's just for fun, because, like, I'm here, and I'm like, oh, you know what, before I started, why don't I have a go? Because it's been a really long time, and I've rewatched it multiple times, but that was back then. I'm a different person now. So I rewatched it, and I was like, wow, interesting. And then I was like, man, did these jokes not age well? Gotta say, not different, very different times. When Make Happy was what, 16, 17?
2016.
16, yeah. Yeah, very, very different times. Gotta say. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that even during the time, they were a little bit close to like the edge of that
I think
moral
so as well.
Fine line.
Yeah, so and obviously that moral fine line from 16 is like pretty much dust from at this point. So yeah, I mean, I still had a time because I'm not a bitch. So I thought the jokes were all great.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the early Bo Burnham shows is that you can see this evolution and progression in not only the way that he performs, but the way that he uses the stage as a part of his act and everything.
I never really. I always knew, because I watched it a bunch. I watched Make Happy. I watched all of his shows.
Right.
And he's very, and the lighting is very adept, and is really, what he uses is fantastic. And one of the greatest example would have been Inside, with the way we watched his recent show, or special rather. And I was gushing about that, and then I watched Make Happy, and I was like, I forgot that this idea of Bo using lighting techniques is nothing new. I totally forgot that, because all the spotlights and the wavering lights and like the lighting he used during this auto-tune little speech at the end. I don't think that I can handle this right. I don't think that, and the back. Oh my god! It's instilled in my brain so well. The backlight behind him that cast him into a dark shadow.
Yeah,
but it's like this glowing. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then even on the side angle, that was a great show. For 2016, that was a great, beautifully produced film.
I love. We could make an entire.
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
the craftsmanship and the fact that he was able to use the lighting and the stage and the different, like the argument that he was having with the light beams.
Yes. Yes.
And the smoke machines. It's like he uses everything around him to craft this beautiful little thing that we just get to enjoy. And it was the same thing with It was the same thing with Make Happy. It was, it's nothing new for him, but he was able to, with Inside, he was able to take all of that stuff, refine it, and he was able to be so, I'm trying to think of the right word, like
creative.
He was able to be so creative with it, and it was so malleable because it was all stuff that he was setting up, and so he could make it as weird or as goofy as he wanted to. Like he in Inside, for the second Jeff Bezos song, he was wearing a ghillie suit, and there was just like a bunch of weird crazy lights going on behind him, and it was like a 1 minute long song, but it was hilarious. Just because it was just so out of right field.
Yes.
And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's one of those things where you're just kind of taken aback by it, and you're like, what the hell is going on right now?
Well, lighting plays a huge role in everything, not just for subject lighting, but like backlighting. Like, we changed your light behind you from orange to blue, and it changed like literally everything.
Yeah, and look at how pretty it is.
Look at it's so much nicer. Well, that's subjective, but rather it just changed. It changed it. It changed your frame drastically, somehow, some way. Also, I think it's hard to tell because 2 of the light bulbs are dead. But you want to kill the lights because we never did that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's hard to tell because 2 of our light bulbs are dead. I think this will fix the lighting a little bit. I think we might have been overexposed. Oh, that's so much better. I'm so sorry.
Oh, look at how sexy that looks.
I'm so sorry if we were overexposed for a little bit because we were. Anyways.
It took us 30 minutes to realize.
Totally forgot about it. Because, well, in my perspective, that light bulb, there's not even a light bulb there, and that light bulb died because I bought these light bulbs from Amazon because of course they're gonna die quick, Speaking of Jeff Bezos, it's like rough, but
Jeffrey Bezos.
The point I'm trying to the idea of just using or adapting to more things. We literally talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
What's cool about Bo's performances, and this isn't going to be a Bo episode again because I'll proceed on because I'm going to tie this into my next subject because I'm fucking great like that, sort of. But the point is just that and this is not saying anything bad because I love other comedians, But what he did great, what was different was that he used that idea of using his environment and his stage and planning everything out, and even had a joke in his own in Happy Now where he was talking about comedians who were in the moment and stuff like that, or this was a true story, this really happened. Okay, cool. It's like he knows exactly what he's doing. The audience knows exactly what's up. Like, obviously everything is planned. Obviously everything is staged. So because of that notion, he doesn't have to hide anything.
Right.
Well, he can hide the behind the scenes magic, but he doesn't have to hide the fact that this is not like, he doesn't have to pretend like this is like something extra, like a extraordinary experience or an unorthodox experience rather. It's just, I planned every single thing from every note to every light to every position to every mic placement, everything
to every gesture.
Yeah. Like and that's what's cool because again, I love my comedians who just do, go up on a stage and do stand up and they're hilarious,
Yeah.
I love them. But that's what sets Bo differently because he does do that, but he does more than that. He adds to it. He has more things that he can do and to keep the audience on their toes because even though I just said that they know what they're coming in for. In practice they do, but they don't actually know what the fuck's gonna happen because it's so right field, and that's an element that Bo has been able to capture very well, even on something. And I think a great example of that is when he did Inside because it wasn't a live audience, but it still had that same theme of it being planned because it had to be planned because it's pre-recorded.
Right.
So it was like this. Yeah, this is literally just like another Bo thing. Like, this is cool. So. obviously with its own undertones, but that's for every one of his shows. But it was great. So I just wanted to say that really quick because I don't know. I was before I started watching this sad boy anime, I'm just like, I kind of want to watch Make Happy for no reason, and then I'm gonna watch this anime for no reason.
I love those impromptu moments where you're just kind of like,
yeah, sure, why not? Now, Zach, I'm going to just say right now, right off the bat. First of all, I'm not going to talk spoilers because one, I haven't finished it yet. I'm still on episode 7, which is where I left off on years ago because I had to stop because I had to focus on school. Violet Evergarden is an anime in Netflix that is one of the first, not the firsts, and there's been first prior to that, but one of the first animes that really put anime in the Netflix, in the mainstream, but not really mainstream. I would say that's Demon Slayer, but to put it in a form of media or a form of, in a platform such as Netflix.
right.
There has been other animes. I don't know what they are. I know this. And there's been Studio Ghibli films. But Violet Evergarden was one of the first that was just like not a Studio Ghibli, not a Demon Slayer, not a Jujutsu Kaisen, not a, one of those shows. It was just kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. It was an out of place. It was a random, it was not underground necessarily, but it, like you said, it wasn't those mainstreams, but it was there. And this show ended up winning awards for being visually stunning. And again, I'm going to have you watch a trailer because I think I have not finished it yet, but I truly mean when I say Violet Evergarden might be, and this is an anime that came out in 2018. To this day, I still think it's probably one of the greatest produced animes of all time. And this is in part, yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is in part with Kyoto Animation, one of the greatest studios of all time for the production quality. And frankly, I think their studio at the time, back then, nowadays, studios are really good. We've seen Ufotable, Ufotable is also really good, but, Cloverworks and all that type of stuff and these crazy shows, A1 Pictures, they're awesome studios. But Kyoto Ani, and you're going to watch this soon when we watch Silent Voice, they have something that's just special. And I don't know why, but they have what I consider to be cinematography, but in anime.
You piqued my interest already.
Yes.
Like, I think the really, really cool part about a lot of the shows that we've watched is that they use certain cinematic techniques or like cinematography techniques to make it so that you can just be super, super immersed in it. And like, oh, that just looks so pretty already.
It's one of the 2018.
Wait, that says 2016.
Well, this is 16. It came out in 2018, I believe. Right? I think so. Yeah, because I watched it. Oh, it was 2018. Oh, fuck. Maybe it was. No, this is just a CM, so this is a teaser. I'm just going to have you, no audio, of course, because we'll get fucked. But I'm going to have you listen to it because the audio is very pretty. And this is one of the shows where I mentioned one of probably the best soundtracks among with Nier that I've gushed about all the time. That's a game, though. But with Your Lie in April, with Your Name, beautiful soundtrack. So let me paint the preface of Violet Evergarden really quick. So Violet Evergarden, or Violet, she is a girl from the war. This is kind of set in an interesting time. It's very interesting. You see the typewriter, right? It's kind of like this post-war era, I suppose. And she is some sort of, basically she calls herself a weapon, and people call her a tool because she was raised in the army to kill and stuff, and now the war is over. And so during the war, she was adopted by one of the generals who left a strong impression on her, who taught her many things. And after the war, he was nowhere to be found. But the last words that he told her was to live, to be free, and I love you. But to someone like Violet, who doesn't know anything about this, all she knows is fighting and war. So she has no idea what these complex feelings mean. So she wants to learn what that means.
Right.
And there's this industry right now where with the typewriter is basically like they will type letters for people because, you know, this is a time where people don't know how to read or write and stuff like that. Or maybe read, but not write necessarily, right? So this is what their service would be. And basically she uses this to learn more about people and learn more about emotions, complex emotions that she doesn't understand. It's very good. It's one of the, when I say best produced, I don't just mean visually. I think the story is beautiful, and it's one of the animes that, you know, makes you cry every single episode. You know,
cool.
But for not for like a Your Lie in April reason, but yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that. Not for like a Your Lie in April. Oh, 3? Oh, okay.
No, I just got a hair in my mouth.
Nice. Yeah. Not for a Your Lie in April reason. But kind of, but not for the exact reason.
Right.
It's just very pretty. But it also just doesn't, you know, it show the themes it hits is like very, very, very pretty. And that's all I'll say. But just like the way it's animated, like 2018, no fucking way, dude. Kyoto Ani was just magical. Maybe it was 2000. No, I'm pretty sure it's 2018. But I can check again. No, I'm gonna look it up just because I need to know now that I've asked. Oh, that's right. I forgot Kyoto Ani did this. Kyoto Animation, they do a lot of animes based off of light novels, which gives them free range to do whatever they want as far as visuals go, almost, which is very interesting. They have their own novel. I forgot about that. 2018. I knew it. Okay, I was right. So I'll have you watch this real quick, Zach, and whether this ends up in the episode or not, I'm not sure because we might get fucked, but we'll see. All right.
Like anyone who is able to accurately represent bokeh, like that is so cool.
One of my favorite things about this show so far is the way they animate, how do I explain this? Abstract things. Like you'll see when you watch it, I want you to watch it, Zach.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I've said, yeah, you should watch. I want you to watch this because I want you to experience it. When I was watching it last night, I was like, Zach would love this.
I love that that's something that you think of now because like
I mean it, Zach.
You understand like
yes.
the style of animation that I really love, and like if it has a good score, if it looks good, if it has a good story, I'm gonna love it. It doesn't matter what it is. And I think we've seen a lot of examples of that, like Your Lie in April, like Angel Beats, like, you know, it's just, I love when they are able to just look at the like, just look, even looking at the thumbnails, like,
I guess here. Yeah, it's first of all, one of my favorite color gradings of all time. I mentioned this before, I think, in an episode, the washed out dark blacks. That's brought up. It's probably one of my favorite color gradings of like all time, and I do it very often nowadays, where it like the way the washed out blacks is used to portray darkness, but it's visible. It's so fascinating. And when you watch, like, look how the difference between the black, like it's just darkness, and this black these black letter boxes on the sides. And Zach, I went the full way, Zach. I wasn't on my phone. I put both of my AirPod Pros in, laid on my back, and watched it on my iPad.
Hell yeah.
You know, I treated myself. I was like, I never paused for screenshots. I put my iPad and my phone on do not disturb. I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I should do this for this show. And I've never really done it before. I've always been the guy to take screenshots and stuff, but I was like, for something like this, I feel like I really want to for some reason. I really do. And it's just very pretty. I think what's really fascinating to me is the world building. Oh! The direction that they take, the environment that they're in. Like it has this kind of like this kind of European-esque, but not really. This kind of style of I don't know, this industrial, this not I don't know, steampunk, but it's so pretty. I don't know why, and I think it's fascinating. But it's a really good show, and I really want you to watch it, Zach, because I think you would love it so much. It's very
so. It looks like, to me at least, like it's set almost during like a futuristic version of the Industrial Revolution.
Basically, yeah.
Like it looks like just like the way that the buildings are built, the way that, they're using a typewriter, and like a lot of the things that are in the surrounding world and the surrounding environment. It's just like, yep, that definitely.
Dude, look at this fucking cup, bro. Fucking creamed when I saw that cup.
Wait, the cup? Oh God, I didn't see it. Oh! Oh my God. Bro, okay. My headphones are falling off.
That was a good example. So the way they animate elements, I suppose, abstract elements, things like the glisten in the eyes, the reflection of metal, and the glisten in this little emerald patch that you're gonna see. I'm not really sure why or how the fuck they do it. It's a lot of Again, playing on it's CG as well,
right?
A lot of it, but it's done really well. It's 2018, right? So CG in this era is not really looked great upon, right?
Right.
Not very well, at least. But you see things like Kyoto Annie, like animes like this, even like Silent Voice, where there's a lot of CG, but it's done in a way that's there's a purpose for it. It's not for laziness. It's not for what's the word? It's not for lack of input, I suppose, but it's because it would just be the better move. It would look better. It would feel better. And I think Violet Evergarden was a beautiful way to look at CG, an anime with a lot of CG, and you look at it and you're like, there's CG in this? Because I don't know how, but in 2018, Kyoto Annie did CGs way too well. They made it look way too good. And like her metal hands that you saw, the way it always reflects with the light and stuff, and it's just like there's this one part. It's in the opening. I need to show you it because I love it a lot. And obviously, I'm not gonna play the audio because that would suck. Like this part, like now. So
I just want you guys to see. Like, okay, so the screen's right there, right? I'm just sitting here like
I'm afraid to show it very much, It's hard. And I feel like I have to cut a lot of it out. But
yeah, but it's like
it's something different.
Dude,
because there's like yeah.
It looks like watercolor and like really, really good hand-drawn animation and CG had a love child. Yeah. And that's what this show is. Because it looks like look at the sky. It looks like it was painted in watercolor, And like there are certain things like the details in the table, like, there are a lot of things where it would be like, oh yeah, if you used assets, sure, then it would look really cool. And like the sparkly effects and like everything like that is like layered on top or whatever. But it's just so beautifully done. And
I'm glad you're liking it then.
That
mountain.
But look at, dude.
Oh, the landscaping and yes, all of yeah.
Okay, the okay, wait, hang on.
Go ahead.
I want to go back.
Yeah.
I look at this from like a photographer's perspective, and it looks like you're standing on top of the mountain looking at all of that.
Yeah.
And like I can imagine just how that picture would be taken. And the fact that they were able to add so much detail. There's detail in the fucking water, bro. Like, what is happening? It's like the fact that, and the reflection in the water of the mountain. Like, dude, the more that I stare at this, the more that I just am absolutely shocked. And the fact that they were able to just have so much detail, and like you can see the reflections in the water almost all the way back as far as you can see. And like that's just a level of attention to detail that I have never seen before.
I think
like
and this is what Kyoto Ani was really good at back then, you know, was basically
back then when it was like it was a long time ago.
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, they had other shows like in 2016 and so on. Even then, I mean, Kyoto Ani they did Clannad, and they did a lot of old key shows too, like 2004 Air and Canon and stuff. They're around the block, Zach. They know what they're doing, and they've had a lot of years. They have Kyoto Ani has their own schools for teaching their own animators. I told you, like, we just read and I just showed you the they have their own light novel awards, so that way they can pick their own stories and then have creative freedom with it. Like, they quickly rose to be probably, I think, I say a lot. I say Shaft is my favorite studio. I say A1 is my favorite studios, and I truly want to say, after watching a Kyoto Ani animation again last night or this morning. See, concept time is weird right now.
Yeah.
It made me realize how good Kyoto Ani was at producing back then, and just what kind of things they wouldn't just put out another seasonal anime. They would put out something beautiful every time they worked on something, and it garnered me a new respect that I had before, but it wasn't truly in fruition yet until I rewatched one, and I said, "Wow, never mind." I think like to watch like a Your Name-esque production,
right,
on a 12 to 13 episode weekly anime, you know.
Yeah. It's fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
And like, I was just looking at this picture because it does remind me of like this type of animation style where it's just so pretty. And I already know you're about to show me something really cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, good.
Fucking Marvel Studios, get out of here.
I know.
love how you're showing...
I'm just putting it into the background. This is silent voice.
I love how you have my perspective, just because you know that I'm going to have the most to say. I don't know how to explain it, dude. Like, it's impossible for me to explain like the lens flares, bro. Like, you know, this is stuff that's hard to do with a camera, taking pictures of things that are actually real, and being able to do it synthetically and do it in like everything looks like it has a purpose. Everything is deliberate, and it's just so good. What?
Well, this is a movie, but
right, but like even then, even with like blockbuster type money, that's still impressive. It doesn't matter what their budget was. It doesn't matter like the reason why, or like, you know, it doesn't matter what studio did it. It doesn't matter what their budget was. It doesn't matter. Like, it's so cool because they made it out of love, you know, like, and you can see those passion projects outside of like anything else. Because it's just so cool. So fucking cool.
No,
oh my god.
Really, yeah, I know what everyone's thinking. This is a weird. Whenever we react to things, and it gets really weird and meta. But you know, it's like I really do.
Sorry.
Something about Kyoto Ani just has that, like I said, that cinematic, that something that just not every anime has, and shows even nowadays that don't have. And that's not to say they're bad, because I was freaking out over a Kebi-chan the other day from Cloverworks, and Dress Up Doll, also by Cloverworks, is really fucking good right now, and the artwork in that is also was really good as well. Demon Slayer and Ufotable, we just had an episode where we just talked about that for an entire like 2 hours, you know.
Right.
I'm not defended the said animation, you know. I'm not saying that it's bad, like animation is bad, you know. I'm not being a hypocrite right now, but like even like a 2018 anime, I consider that to be not old, but it's at you say you're not old, but it's been 4 years,
right?
You know, like It's been a while. And I mean, that's to say that's when it aired. I mean, this CM right here aired in 2016.
2016.
And not even then, and this isn't even like Kyoto Animation has just basically done shows just like this with this type of production. Maybe not to this T, but you know, and it's no wonder why it won awards, and it's no wonder why it was like so groundbreaking to me. Where I'm not calling it the best anime ever. Like, it's not my favorite anime ever. I have a personal favorite anime. It's not Gutsu no Line, but when I watched Violet Evergarden, maybe this will change when I finish watching it. I'm going to finish it tonight because fuck it. When I finish watching it, I'm going to think to myself, I wonder if this truly is the greatest anime to ever be produced. Just in general eyes, just in what it did to anime, what it meant for it to be a Netflix original.
Wait, this was a Netflix original?
Yes.
What?
There's a lot of value and there's a lot at stake for it. Yeah, I know, right?
So, wait.
Yes.
This
you
was
would have
like,
to watch it on Netflix. Yes.
Well, I didn't know you had to watch it on Netflix.
Yeah. It's not on Crunchy. It's not on Eggroll.
It's not on Crunchy Egg?
No.
Dude, okay. Wait, I didn't know it was a Netflix original too. That just adds another feather in their cap because Netflix decided that they were gonna have this really, really, really good production company produce this beautiful fucking work of art of a show. And not only that, it's had critical success. It's critically acclaimed. Like, it's a like you said, it's won awards. Yeah. It's done all that kind of stuff. Not only that, it's also fucking stunning. Also, the story's amazing. Also, the OST is amazing.
Not even to that level, Zach.
I like, before I've even watched an episode of the show, I can see why you say that.
Not even to that same level you're trying to say, Zach. On a different side of the coin, Netflix decided to fund an Eastern cartoon to an audience that doesn't know much about it, to an audience that may criticize such things, you know?
Yeah.
They decided to do that, and it was a success. Isn't that fascinating? And now what, Zach? Look at all these animes on Netflix, Zach. Look at everybody watching Demon Slayer, Zach. To me, and it could not have been, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. Maybe there was like an actual set in stone anime that did this. Maybe it just was Demon Slayer. But to me, as an anime watcher, growing up in high school and middle school, maybe not so much in middle school, early high school, for me, watching anime now, I look at Violet Evergarden like a change in era. I look at it like this is where it starts. This is where the opinion of anime shifts. From here, from Violet Evergarden. A Netflix original. Everybody has Netflix.
I remember seeing all of Violet Evergarden's like advertisements and stuff on Netflix.
Perhaps, yeah.
And I was like, I remember this very vividly. I was like, why is Netflix throwing a bunch of advertisements about an anime?
Right.
Like that just kind of seemed like it caught me off guard.
Exactly.
I was very confused. It seemed like it came out of nowhere.
Exactly, because it did.
And I think that this was the turning point. Because I feel like if it wasn't for Violet Evergarden doing as well as it did and garnering the attention that it did, I feel like all of these other shows that ended up getting put on Netflix, you know, like Erased, like Your Lie in April, No Game, No Life. Pretty sure No Game, No Life is on Netflix.
I believe so, yeah.
But you know, all of these shows that were amazing, you know, it's like, look at all these shows that are on there now. Oh, Angel Beats is on there too.
Yes. you know, the mainstream ones: Naruto, Demon Slayer, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, Sword Online, Seven Deadly Sins.
And then you scroll down. Parasite? I watched Parasite on Netflix.
Violet Evergarden, there's that. Toradora, like Bunny Girl Senpai.
Castlevania.
Yeah. Like, it's not just Komi-san Can't Keep It. That's airing last season. Or this season. What the fuck is it? No, last season. Like, these aren't just your everyday Joe Schmo shows.
Right, and they have movies, they have TV shows, like they have everything. Look at it, just goes.
Zach, this is so fascinating to me. Do you understand this, Zach? Someone like me?
Oh, look, there's a race.
There's a race. To someone like me who would have, if you pointed a gun in my head and told me, do you think, or if you pointed a gun to my head and said, I won't shoot you if you tell me that anime is going to be popular in the next couple of years, I would say, well, sir, I'm not going to lie to you, so you can blow my brains out.
Right.
This is not what I ever would have expected at all. And like, if I did expect it, then it would have just been Naruto. It would have just been Demon Slayer and Hunter x Hunter. It would have just been those shows. So I look at this and I say, the last time, Zach, I checked an anime, like or a couple years ago, the last time I checked Netflix was for anime. There was only, well, Tsuji as well, but there was, the one that stood out was just Violet Evergarden. That was the last time I checked Netflix. Fast forward literally like 2-3 years. Maybe like 2 or 3-ish years. It was when I built that computer for Brandon.
Yeah.
I go to his house because, you know, to surprise him and do the video. I have a video on it. You can check it out if you'd like to. I built a PC for a console gamer, I believe. A little older video, but it's kind of fun still. And I had to stay the night there because during the time there was the fires and stuff, and the sky was literally red, and it was pretty scary that around those days. So I was like, okay, I should probably spend the night. And we decided to watch Bunny Girl Senpai movie because I got him into anime through Bunny Girl Senpai. And well, in a race, the classic flowchart stuff, but Bunny Girl Senpai was what was
good choice.
Woo. But then after that, we were just on Netflix. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And then we watched some stuff like French Prince. I watched Train to Busan, which is a great movie. And then something caught my attention, and I saw an anime, and I was like, and it wasn't like a Naruto. It was like something like that was not Naruto. It wasn't a mainstream. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, Brandon, slow down. Can you search up anime really quick? He's like, yeah. Like, I was crazy, right? And he opens it up and he shows me this. And I'm like, no fucking way. Absolutely no way. That's insane. How? There's so much. There's even some I've never seen before. Heard of before. There's even more to watch, but you have to sign in. Because I'm not signing in right now. There was only one, Zach, last time I checked.
Right. And here we are.
Right. That's so crazy to me. That, like, how... I don't even know if you can understand how I'm feeling. I don't understand how you can see the look of my face when I saw that. I was like, no way. It's like I had this underground rapper that I listened to on SoundCloud, and all of a sudden I see him on a fucking Pringles commercial or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? Or he's on this like third studio album or some shit, like platinum. He's going on world tours and stuff.
Right.
How did this happen? No way. That's crazy. How in the world? That's how I'm feeling.
Right.
That's so fascinating to me. And I have to say, it's to me, it's Violet Evergarden. It has to be Violet Evergarden. It has to be. It can't be Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer helped. It can't be Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter helped. I think Seven Deadly Sins is a Netflix original, apparently, which I didn't even know about. But it had to help. It couldn't have been it.
Right.
There's no... So that's why I say Violet Evergarden is one of the best produced animes of all time, because not only did it make a mark in, well, anime and cinema, I suppose, if you will,
right,
in visual cinematography and that type of thing, but it also made a mark on the social view in the social eyes of media.
Right.
I can't see another anime's done that, at least at the time, in 2018.
You know, it makes me happy to know that all of this stuff is happening, and like the impact has just grown exponentially. And you know, the fact that I watch anime and it's like, oh yeah, you know, you can find shows on Netflix, you can get Crunchyroll, Funimation, you know, like there are so many different places that you can find anime now. And you know, that's what makes it so easy for you to be able to get into it. And that just makes me really happy, because you know, it's just exponential growth at this point. And to see kind of the show that was that turning point where it was like, you know, once Violet Evergarden was on Netflix, soon after that, this shit happens.
Many more came.
Sonic
X came. Anyway, I'd like for you to.
I'd
like for you to watch it. I think you would love it. I mean it when I say I'm watching this, and I'm like, Zach would love this. He would love this so much, and it is a sad.
Arthur, we passed the point of no return.
I know, but I would hate to do this because we're gonna watch Origaru. We're gonna finish Origaru, and then we're gonna watch A Silent Voice, and then theoretically you're gonna watch this, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing to Zach? But Violet Evergarden is sad for a different reason, because of the experiences, because of the empathy of Violet, because of being immersed into this world that feels real, because it feels just like what you've read in the books, but it's not quite. It's a little different, but it is, but it's not. And there's just this this interesting tone and atmosphere that makes you just really feel like you forget that you have headphones on right now, that you forget that you're in your gamer setup, your war station right now, or you're on your bed right now, or you're anywhere right now. You're just there. It has to be, because everybody's so serious about it. Nobody, like, people were talking about this and talking about that, how this crazy new invention of the typewriter and how it was made and all this and all that. And they're talking about it like it's so normal. And you're like, it is normal because I'm here.
Like, this makes sense.
This makes sense.
When the world makes sense. Like, we talked about this last episode. And the fact that it's such a prominent part of what makes these shows so good. And, you know, even shows that you haven't watched the one show that you haven't watched that I've watched, Parasite, they did a really good job of that. They, you know, like, if you're able to feel like the actions of the main protagonist are justified, and if they seem like normal human being actions, you know, like, it just makes it so much better, because you feel like Erased. We talked about this many times. Like, when it makes sense, the world makes sense, the actions of the main characters make sense, the way that the characters interact with each other, when all of that makes sense, it just makes this beautiful little love child of just like absolutely amazing storytelling and all of that kind of stuff. Also, I realized I probably should mention this so that people aren't scared. my tattoo isn't dying right now. It's
you had a tumble.
No, it's doing what normal tattoos do. You can't even really see it, but
what does it do?
The top layer of skin. Ow.
Nice.
The top layer of skin kind of like sheds off.
Oh, interesting.
Because of like trauma to the skin, because you're impaling it with needles and shit.
Right. Didn't know that was a thing. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's normal. I'm fine. But anyways, yeah. When the story makes sense, when you're put in an environment where you feel like this could exist. And we talked about this in the No Game No Life episode, and that was like one of the most prominent things that we talked about during that episode, because they literally laid out the rules of the world in the first episode. And then they call back to it very often over the course of the show. And so it's really, really cool when you're able to see that just beautifully done. And I feel like, and just by the way that you're describing it, I feel like Violet Evergarden is going to be another example of that, because it just looks so fucking stunning.
Yes.
And it's just, yeah.
But it has this thing that No Game No Life doesn't have. And it's that we kind of know. We've kind of read it in history books about this post-World War I type thing. This steampunk era. I
would think that it would be like Revolutionary War.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, it definitely looks more like yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I love... Now, this is a weird tie, but I've explained before, like anime girl archetypes, the tsundere, the dere, those type of things, where like they're super happy and the girly, or super mean to the protagonist, or kudere, which means that they express, they're almost emotionless. And it's weird I'm tying this, but I mean, Violet would be considered a kudere, where she doesn't really express an emotion on her face very well. She's very deadpan. She's very like that. And because of that, in normal rom-com type stuff, you would adore that, because when they do express emotion, it's very cute and it's very wholesome. You're like, oh my god, that's fantastic. There's this gap, right, where you don't expect them to show such emotion. In Violet Evergarden, that's the kudere gap is different, because obviously it's not like a rom-com or anything. It's more so like she doesn't understand these complex feelings that she's feeling, because although she was born to kill and she was born to fight in war, and she knows nothing more than that, she's still a human being. She's still an adolescent girl, she has these complex emotions that, as we've explained before, there's just no way to describe it. It's just what we feel, and it's what we know. We know what these feelings are, you and I, because we've experienced it. But you can't write it down. It doesn't make any sense. You write examples of what that means, but what does that mean?
Right.
We only have examples, but it doesn't mean anything. And you see that. You see her interactions with people. You see how straightforward she is. Like when people, one of the biggest things is like contradictory. How humans are contradictory. They never say the truth. They always lie. They always mean something they always mean the thing that they don't mean. And she has a hard time understanding that. It makes you think like, we really do that. We say all these. We tell ourselves all these lies and truths, or truths that happen to be lies that happens to be truths. We say what we don't mean. We say white lies. We say, you don't look fat in that dress. And she'd be like, yes, you fucking do. Like she doesn't understand that. And you think about it like, obviously she doesn't understand that, because humans, they're so complex with their speech that we interpret things more than just what the words are, but the meaning of the words, context behind the words, between the lines, body language, voice articulation, who this person is, why they are who they are, things that you can't justify in a courtroom.
Right.
But you and I could understand, because obviously this guy is the fucking killer. He has every time I say the word murder, his lips kind of jerk a little bit. Like he's obviously a little off the rocker. But that wouldn't make any sense to someone like Violet, because he never said he killed someone or anything like that, Like it's like,
right.
She doesn't understand that. And that's why I find these types of media so fascinating, or these types of storytelling, the types where it's the robot who doesn't understand anything, but they learned how to love and that type of stuff. No Game No Life 0, Violet Evergarden. I don't know, movies like that, or like what was that one game? Detroit, right?
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human. I don't know if that's exactly what that was about, but because I never really watched a full playthrough of it, unfortunately. I've only seen clips, and it's very fascinating.
Right.
Just this idea of like, what does it mean to be human? I suppose it would be the heart, but what that doesn't mean anything to someone who doesn't comprehend such complex things that mean another thing. If I say I'm happy, how does that mean? How can that possibly mean, if I say I'm happy, how can that possibly turn around and mean that I'm actually not? If I tell you that everything is fine, how can someone like Violet or someone like who doesn't understand this type of things comprehend the fact that I'm actually not okay?
Right.
How do you do that? There's absolutely no way that would make sense.
Right.
And that's why I find it so fascinating. The contradictory nature of human beings is challenged in the Violet Evergarden, of how we speak to each other, how we can communicate with each other, how we interact with each other, relationships that we hold with each other, how they can easily be broken, how they can be mended, how writing letters for people can convey the words that we're not able to say in person. And that's, what Violet Evergarden would be. And it's just a really weird pitch, and I haven't even finished it yet. I mean, what if I just finish? I was like, okay, man, that ending was shit. I don't know. Something this stupid like that. I'm sure it won't be, but I'll finish it and I'll update everyone. And it might be a week. I don't know if we could be able to record this weekend because I'm a little busy, unfortunately, but
see, now I just want to watch it.
Yeah, I know. So that's what we're gonna watch Origo, finish it, and then I'll say, okay, do you want to watch Silent Voice now, or do you want to watch, or are you gonna watch? But I'm currently watching it now, so you'd have to watch it on your own. So we could watch Silent Voice together, and then you can decide for yourself. You know what? I'm gonna fuck it and blow through this myself. You can decide that if you want. I'll let you decide. I'm not gonna influence you at all. But what I will say, or at least directly influence you, but I will say, I think it's I think you will like it a lot. There's so much to it that I'm just like, this is, wow, 2018. Trendsetter. Apple, I don't know. It's this, they just did the things that they did, and now we're here. And
now we're in a place where it's like, I would hate to see it go any other way than it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least with the popularity of anime and the accessibility of anime, because like, just seeing the fact that it's on Netflix. And so if you have Netflix, you can watch anime. It used to be like, you would need Crunchyroll, Funimation before, like, there were times where you had to go to sketchy places to find it, and like, there are just so many different ways that you can see it now, that you can watch anime now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is so fucking cool. This is so cool.
Like,
it's like,
so
what you looking at?
Oh, I'm just looking at things.
Look at that. That's so pretty.
This is I never watched it free, but it's about a bunch of dudes and swimming and stuff. Bunch of hot dudes, classic.
Bunch of guys being dudes.
Bunch of buff dudes being guys. The final stroke. Keck. But oh, what the heck? I didn't even do that. But so I don't know if I want to, because I don't want to jump into this, but I feel like I should, because there's a big elephant in the room right now, Zach. Yep, because I brought up Kyoto Annie. And it's no really pleasant way to put it, but in recent times, Kyoto Animation was, Kyoto Animation studio was a victim of an arson attack and took the lives of many. don't know the full details. I never bore the strength to read into it, but instead I decided to mourn with the rest, and it was a really big deal. It was, I don't remember I don't remember if the suspect or if there was a suspect. I don't remember if he was caught. I don't remember if I don't remember his motives. I don't remember anything about it because I decided not to look into it too much. And it well, obviously, you know, it's fucked, you know. That's absolutely, like, that's rough. That's
right.
And what ended up happening was there was this, you know, there's a long stay, or a long, I guess, time where we kind of just had to not, you know, we had to wait for Kyoto Ani to recover. You know, we didn't see a Kyoto animation or anime for a while, you know, and you know, it was a really big thing. It was always trending. I still have it on my Twitter bio personally, but there was this hashtag like Kyoto Ani, or pray for Kyoto Ani, you know, and I have Kyoto Ani strong on my bio. It was something that moved the community in a way that I felt like I've never seen before. Something that was so tragic, but something as, at the time, as dense and as well, you know, controversial, because, you know, whenever I see anime Twitter, it's always fighting, it's always bickering, it's always who's the best waifu and what's the best show, what's this and what's that, you know. And it's, you know, something like this happens and we kind of forget how these animes come to be. We forget that there's human beings working on this. We forget that there's a studio working on it. We forget that there's a lot of time and dedication into putting into these characters that we love, and these the music soundtracks that we enjoy, and the stories that compel us to learn more about ourselves. And something like this happens, and I feel like a lot was kind of just shoved to the corner. A lot of hate, a lot of disrespect within the community. A lot of that just kind of stopped because it was a moment of seriousness. It was a moment of, okay, we've had our fun, but something bad happened. We're playing with fire, but all of a sudden the forest is engulfed. You know, something happened, something bad happened, and I've mentioned it before. I love community created things. I love it because it's the people. It's this idea of no higher power orchestrated anything. It's just we started it, and it's like this idea of like hashtag pray for Kyoto Ani, you know, donate. Someone set up like a GoFundMe's and donation for them, and how to support them, how to buy merchandise from them overseas and stuff, how to support them in any way they can, how to send your respects to the family members and to those who have lost, how to pay your condolences to a studio that made us kind of forget about how such an ugly world can detriment our viewpoints, and how even something that we can use to escape from can be affected by said ugly world still. And it's kind of like during the time everybody was making artwork for it, and it was really pretty, and it was really like, it was a time. It was like almost, I don't know how to explain it really. It was as if something catastrophic had happened, and something did happen that was absolutely, you know, of course that was really bad, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, God, it's really dark to say, but you know, in the grand scheme of how big other catastrophes may be, it's not necessarily the biggest thing in the world. But you know, it was fascinating to bear witness to a community coming together and remembering, you know, what we all enjoy, and that's anime, and it's expression of creativity. It's storytelling in a medium that we've never seen before. It's painting pictures in a light that we've never seen before, telling you the what ifs. What if this happened? What if this were to happen? Why what would be the outcome if magic were to exist? If the world was going to end in 2 years, if a loved one were to pass away, if you were to have the hand, if you were to be to have a hand of that happening, if there was a mass raid of another country, if there was all these sorts of stories that are scary to say or hard to say, hard to mention, all these types of situations, these what ifs that ponder the human mind that we dare not say because it's just too much. What if I were to do this? What if I were to stand up and just not clock your jaw for no fucking reason and tell you to leave? I don't know why, but why not? Obviously, I'm a normal human being. I wouldn't do, but why not? There's just a random possibility of why not? Who's saying that it's not possible that a sniper bullet can just break through this window and land me on the forehead? Who's not to say that all of a sudden we will just see troops parachuting from the sky from a country that we don't know? Who's to say that aliens are to invade right now and make humanity extinct in the blink in a minute? These stories that may be harsh, may be beautiful, may be detrimental, may be tragic, but may be insightful. That's what anime ended up being for us. The anime taught, just to not even just for anime, but for, shows. You see shows like, or sitcoms like Fresh Prince and Full House and Friends, or and George Lopez and stuff, where it teaches you morals that some may not know. So morals that in their personal home environment were not able to be taught. Maybe they were taught, but they were taught incorrectly. Maybe they were taught, but they were taught poorly. Maybe they were taught, but they were taught the wrong way. But shows like this that teach you consequences, human interaction, what ifs, and how to overcome. And that's what anime did for a lot of us. That's what things like, even Vocaloid for that matter, the robotic anime girl we're talking, the music is cool and all, but you look at the lyrics and you're like, damn, it's rough. It's pretty dark. And I just can't help but think that there is a point in time, and maybe still now to this day, where these dark songs that could not be portrayed by a human voice, but had to be portrayed by a robotic voice to tell you, this is what people clinged on to during dark times in their life. I can't help but think that. I can't help but think how crazy things like something as simple as a Japanese cartoon can evoke such things. And that's why when Kyoto Ani was a victim of an arson attack, and it brought shambles to the anime community, it brought detriment, it brought tragedy, it brought sadness and sorrow, and but it also brought reunion, and also brought realism, and it brought a really heavy tone to remind ourselves that this isn't a perfect world, and unfortunately bad things happen to good people. But that doesn't mean that we should be stuck on that, because as you can see, they're back in business.
Right.
They're making anime again. They're back slowly but surely. They're getting back to it. It's been about, I want to say 2 or 3 years at this point. They're working on it again. They're rebuilding. They're fine. They're overcoming, and that says a lot to me. And that's why I look at things like this, and I look at what had happened, and I look at how they're making things again, and how they're back, not back all the way. Maybe they are, I'm not sure, but they're back to animating. They're whether it's to be promotional things for now, or they're back to creating what we know and love. And it just reminded me, yeah, bad things are going to happen, but we can make it. We can figure it out. It'll take some time, but the world isn't going to wait for us, Oh, that's what it was, right? Dragon Maid. That's what it was. So they made an anime called Dragon Maid, or they were responsible of a studio, as a studio, to do Kobayashi-san Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which is based. It's a really cute anime, very wholesome, very slice of lifey about a dragon who becomes a maid for Kobayashi-san. I know, shocker, but but they did this anime, and it wasn't necessarily like the most. Like it wasn't the most stunning anime in the world, but it was a really cute anime, you know. And because it was Kyoto Animation, the animation was fucking on par. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is this random slice of life? Why is the animation way too good? You know. And it was like it was really cute. It was a fun show, and it was great. And it wasn't necessarily the most talked about show in the world, but it was really cute and adorable, and it was awesome. And then this happened, and we were lying in wait. And then all of a sudden, Dragon Maid season 2 gets announced by Kyoto Animation, and then a light emerges. We're like, they're back. Oh my gosh, how long has it been? It's been so long. They're back. And I think they've been working on Violet Evergarden as well, so I can't say Kobayashi or Dragon Maid was the one, but that was the one in my eyes where Twitter was like, not only is a really rememberable anime from terribly long time ago, but from a little bit ago, is getting a season 2 that we never expected to get a season 2, but Kyoto Animation is doing it, and we're like, oh my gosh, they're back. And it's weird when I say anime has shaped the person that I am today, I can agree that term is that sentence is a phrase is a little interesting, because usually who shapes you today? Your role models, people you look up to, your favorite bands or artists, your favorite maybe influencers or celebrities, your favorite directors, your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows. But you don't really think about, like, when you watch like things like Naruto and stuff like that, you don't think like, wow, yeah, anime can really set a preface for how one may think and how one may act and how one may view the world. At least in my eyes, I can see how that cannot really be the first thing that comes to mind. But I mean it, because, and you've experienced it now too, when you watch shows like Your Lie in April, and you watch movies like Your Name, and you watch shows like Erased, and you watch shows like Origami that we're watching, and you can I feel like you can kind of see what I mean by that now. How in a time where I was taught morals, and I was taught, the good versus the bad, and I would like to say that the way I was raised is probably among the upper echelon of how kids maybe my age group, or kids in other generations have been raised. I would like to say that because my parents did a great job.
Right.
They taught me not to be spoiled. They taught me the value of money at an early age. They taught me not to complain about free things. They told me not to do, I guess, as cliche as it is, do wrong, and I'm grateful for the way they raised me, and I think when I raise children, I will raise them in a similar fashion. Not giving them the newest and greatest things, but to compromise and understand what that means. What it means to compromise, what it means to not have the greatest things in the world, what it means to have to bite your tongue on a situation, what it means to what it means to not act even though you don't want to, what it means to know when to act, when you should act, what it means to voice yourself, or what it means to, like I said, bite your tongue. All these things that, is hard to explain, and it's contradicts. It is part of that contradictory human nature, that I was talking about at Violet Evergarden. That was a fucking sick tie back.
Sick tie back.
Sick tie back, I know.
Sick tie back.
But I watch anime. I watch, my first anime was Nisekoi, and it was just a rom-com, and it was really cute and adorable. But even then, there was just themes of just the idea of an unexpected experience happening, and how to react to it, how to satisfy, how to make amends with broken relationships, and where to go from where you left off, and shows like Your Lie in April, which tells me to be free and to not be confined by things that I'm told by, but also to do as I please, do as I want, and to express. I see these shows when I'm growing up, when I'm in high school, and I wouldn't necessarily say I feel like maybe growth period. No, actually, no, I'm lying. I was going to say middle school, but I think high school is a true time where, you're are currently in, or you're ending puberty. You're finding where you lie in the social hierarchy that is high school. You're finding yourself. And in a time where I didn't know who I was, I found anime and I ran to that, and I realized that not everything matters. It's just, what I think of myself. And obviously, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, as long as I'm, not doing anything too out of the ordinary and not doing anything that can cause concern, I should be free to express myself, and I should be free to not be confined by rule sets, and to learn more about interpersonal communication rather than what's just written, set in stone, I suppose. And I know this is a really long speech I'm having right now. This is what happens when I'm tired and I drink jasmine honey tea.
It's okay.
But I don't know. Perhaps it's a love letter to anime for me, Perhaps it's a tribute. Perhaps it's a thank you to something that taught me to stay humble and to know that there are all sorts of things that one can experience, whether it can be supernatural or whether it can be heartbreaking. But there is a resolution somewhere. It just might take a little bit to find it. There's always some solution to a problem, and we'll get there. I explained last episode, I think I did, where there lies a problem that's unsolvable now, and we want to solve it now. We want to get past it, of course, to get on with our lives. But unfortunately, sometimes it's not the case. Time will move, but time isn't going to wait for you to figure it out. Time is going to keep going whether you figure it out or not. So it's more just along the lines of, at what time does that happen? At what time do you figure it out? And that's really what anime taught me. It's really just, I don't know. Dare I say I learned more in anime than I did in schools.
I mean, fair. It's interesting because they're able to present different ideas and different struggles and different situations that you could find yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
And they're able to give you a possible solution. They're able to give you an example of what not to do, or, like we were talking about before, the what ifs of life, like, what if magic existed or whatever it may be. It gives you an opportunity to be able to kind of see those types of things played out in a way to where you can learn a lot from it, and you can learn a lot from the characters that are created. You can learn about the relationships that you have and the relationships that these characters have with each other. As much as it may be, not real, it's still based on reality in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're able to see something played out in front of you that you've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're able to kind of have a little bit better of an understanding of what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you're able to expose yourself to so many different cultural and environmental things that are just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And my journey with anime so far has been very, very interesting, because I was never really like blatantly opposed to watching anime, like, ever.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of was not very accessible. And so the shows that I did watch, you know, like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, like all of that kind of stuff. Pretty sure I watched One Piece too. Like,
no, you did not. Don't tell me. Don't tell me you watched a One Piece.
Wait, did I?
Absolutely not. Who's the main character's name? Exactly. Go ahead. That's with an L. Exactly. Proceed.
I don't remember, bro.
Tried to handshake with the One Piece fan. Don't worry, Zach. We don't. I'm joking, by the way. I'm gonna watch One Piece at some point. Might even read it. I don't know. Maybe I'll go crazy. Fuck it, dude. Go crazy. Go stupid.
But yeah, you know, it's been really cool because you didn't start me off with the Demon Slayers and Attack on Titan. You started me with Erased, and by that point it was hook, line, and sinker. You got me good, and then you know Your Lie in April made me depressed.
Made everybody depressed.
It made everybody depressed. But you know, as the shows kind of went on, I just had a better and better appreciation for what it was that they were creating.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is kind of like a love letter to anime. Now that I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, this is like a thank you card that you send to somebody after they get you flowers. Or
Maybe
like,
it's a love letter to anime for me. But for me, because I talked about it so much, it's also a love letter to Kyoto Animation because I never really spoke on the matter up until now. I've always said my condolences. I've always prayed for them that they'd get better, and they are now, and it's really great. It's good to see. But until I began rewatching or restarting, I suppose I never finished it. Violet Evergarden, it didn't really hit me of just how much I appreciated Kyoto Animation. And now I think I might just go on a Kyoto Ani junkie run where I just watch a bunch of Kyoto Ani animes, and just go, wow, this is what they were doing back then?
mm-hmm.
Wow. You know, I think I might do that. Now that I'm watching anime again. Now that I'm treating myself to some anime here and there, you know. Might have to fuck around and watch some old animes again. Old, but you know. Have a time. Oh, anyways, to break the tension real quick. You know what I fucking hate, Zach, about Netflix? How the skip credits thing.
Oh yeah.
God, that's so fucking annoying, Zach. Because okay, the intro, you can skip. You have the option to skip it, but I mean, it doesn't like you can just not press it and it'll go. Or the opening song, ending song. You have to like press. You have to go and press watch credits. So after a long episode of Violet Evergarden where I'm just like, oh, and then the ED is playing, and the ED is very pretty. It's very slow and it's very, very pretty. And then all of a sudden it stops. I'm like, huh? And then it's the next episode. I'm like, wait, no, I wanted it. No.
You're like, I wasn't done with my
no,
moment.
I wasn't. No. Yeah, that was just really funny. I just thought of that. Yeah, what the fuck? Can you change that in the settings? I hope you can change that in the settings. I'm gonna find that.
I don't know.
I would like to make it so that or at least I mean, give me the option. That's fine, but don't make it a cooldown. That's fucked up. It's like you have this many seconds to wipe your tears and press end credits. Oh man.
I feel like it should be like you have an option to skip the end credits instead of you have an option to fucking watch the end credits.
Just like the intro.
Yeah.
Like it just pops up and then there's no cooldown, there's no loading. It just pops up and then it'll go away. Yeah. No, that was just random. I don't know. But yeah, I truly do recommend it. I don't know if you want to, you can watch it while we're doing Oregon. I don't know when we finish it or maybe wait till after. But yeah. You have my recommendation. We can't watch it together, unfortunately, but just know that as I was watching it, I was thinking Zach this would have been great if we were watching it together.
You convinced me already.
Okay.
Like it didn't take much. You were you showed me like after like 10 seconds, I was like, yeah, so I know what I'm doing when I get home. Do
it as you need to, but just like, Again, there's a lot of shows I say I want you to watch, and we've broken the flowchart because the flowchart is only three shows because that's all you need.
That's all.
That's all I
needed was one show.
Yeah, exactly. That's how good the flowchart is. But, if there was ever a show that I really needed to look you in the eyes and say I think you should watch this, it would be Violet Evergarden. And if there was a movie, it would be A Silent Voice. But we'll watch that together because
Right.
I've already watched it, so I'd like to watch it again. And yeah, but if there had to be a show, I think, I don't know. I feel like I'm setting way too big of a stage when I say the greatest produced anime of all time. But I feel like I should rephrase that. I think it's my personal best produced anime of all time. Also, just because of what it did, as I explained in this very long episode of Uned, what it did to the anime community. And what it means to me.
Yeah. And, you always joke, you're like, I'm never wrong. I'm always right. I mean, the something that you got to remember is that all of the recommended shows that you've told me to watch, because they've been really good, every single time I've watched them, I've been like, yep, you were right. Damn it, Arthur, you were right again. And that's how it was with Angel Beats. And we ended up watching it independently from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of one of those similar occasions where you're just like, I just kind of want to watch this show right now. And then you binge watched it. And then I proceeded to do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see now.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't recommend Angel Beats to you. That was your fault. But,
But it was such a good show.
But it was good. It was good. Yeah. I don't know. Just on a willy-nilly whim. Just like, this seems like a good idea right now. So just decided to watch it, and here I am, Zach. On a whim, Zach, in 12 a.m., 1 a.m. in the morning, I decided to watch. I just say, fuck it. I'm gonna watch Violet Evergarden.
Right.
And now here I am giving just this massive life speech. Didn't think this was gonna happen today. Didn't even know what we're gonna talk about today, Zach.
I think the moments that are the most profound are the ones that you don't expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you expect something really crazy to happen and it does, you're not surprised by it.
Mm-hmm.
If you expect that you're gonna have a crazy day or like a shitty day at work and then you do, you're like, oh wow, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
But
what did MJ say? Expect disappointment or whatever.
Expect failure and you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm pushing wrong buttons. Oh God.
Are you,
there we go.
Okay? All right.
Sorry. Me with my 4 different ways to change the scenes. It just happens.
I'm gonna get a foot pedal one of these days. It's gonna be great,
bro. You're gonna get like.
Yo, that'd be unironically pretty cool. Just a side note. I'm sorry. Foot pedals, so we don't have to like.
or even if it was just a change to our scene.
Yes, that would be pretty cool.
That would be kind of cool. Anyways, I don't know.
Just have another keyboard down there. So we map the space bars. We touch it with our toe. That'd be pretty fun. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Bro, you gotta take out all the other switches except for the space bar and just make it one giant space bar. But anyways, those moments when you are surprised by how good something is, when your expectations are subverted or you have no expectations, those are the times when you end up really, really enjoying and appreciating something more.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever you talk about any show, I'm just like making like a mental checklist of all these shows that you've been bringing up, because it's like, okay, cool. So now I have to watch this show, and now I have to watch this one.
Yeah.
I have to watch the next season of this show.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I'm able to go along on the anime journey with you, and it's been really cool. And I'm glad that this show kind of came from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of fun to be able to experience new things in life with my homies.
Yeah.
With the homies.
With the boys.
We the boys.
Oh yeah, I think that should probably do it for this episode. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to my little ramble. Try anime. I feel like I say that a lot, but you
Bro,
know,
it's on Netflix.
it's on Netflix. There's all sorts of shows on Netflix.
Yeah, you could watch Your Lie in April and be like really sad.
Yeah, or you can watch No Game No Life, or you can watch Erased. Every single episode, the flow chart is on Netflix. Zach. Oh, but be careful though; it defaults to dub, so don't. Silence, little one.
I watched one episode of a dubbed anime one time, and I almost vomited. It was Erased. I was watching Erased, and then I went to do a rewatch because I was trying to get my buddy into it, and it defaulted to the dub, and I just was like in
You're
pain.
like, ooh, interesting. Yeah, but yeah, just be wary of that. Go ahead, hit up the Japanese. I think the way they do it is like audio and subtitles as you're watching the player, and you go to Japanese and you do English subtitles. A little bit of a process. I don't know why they make it such a process, but save yourself the trouble. Do it, not because necessarily English dub is bad, but because, as we explained in the last episode, the performance. I was looking at this camera for some reason. The performances of the Japanese voice actors, the seiyuu, are phenomenal. And it's an
Do you
experience.
want to look at that camera? There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Okay. The experience that you'll get from their god tier performance is going to be like no other.
Right.
I will say. And I don't know what the dub is for Violet Evergarden, but I gotta say, I can't remember who voiced Violet. But she also voiced 2B. I don't know, but it wasn't Kano. No, it was not. I don't know. Sorry, Miyuki. I don't know, but. That's an artist. Anyways, give it a shot because they do a phenomenal job. And I don't know if Violet, I don't know if I consider maybe Violet Evergarden could be, you know what? Any show that isn't Demon Slayer or Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, I welcome it to be your first anime as long as it's not dog shit. Like a show that's meant to be dog shit. If you do that. You set yourself up for failure if you do that. So be wary. Ask me if you're curious. I'll always let you know. I'll probably put you to the flowchart. But if you want to go on your own way and say, hey, to talk about Violet Evergarden, kind of want to give it a shot. I have a Netflix account. I'm a guy like you, guy like me.
Yeah.
Dudes being dudes,
and
girls
also
being girls.
Theys being thems.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
You know, and like. The order of the flowchart, other than Your Lie in April, it's kind of like it's almost like interchangeable in a way.
Yeah.
Because the story of Bun and Girl Senpai is not any better or worse than the story in Erased or No Game No Life. They're just all really really good shows, and so if you decide that you want to take a different route on the flowchart, you can start with any of those shows. Other than Your Lie in April, unless you're a masochist.
Yeah, I would say maybe far away from that. But yeah, Violet Evergarden, you know what? Give it a shot. I think it's phenomenal. I think it appeals to those who only like really cool animation. It appeals to those who love story and stuff like that. It hits every mark. So why the fuck not?
Violet Evergarden gets the UNED recommendation.
Yeah. Love that.
I did that on accident. Anyways.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for that. Apologize. But yes.
Links?
Down here, stuff. Click them. They're cool. Yeah. Patreon, Coffee, Twitter, all that. That's pretty cool. Watch anime. Have a time. Do you have anything to say, Zach?
Our socials are also in the link in the description.
Like I said, if you Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, if you want to check out the cool stuff that we're doing. Outside of the show, and if you end up finding any gems on Netflix that you want us to check out, because like you said, there's a lot of shows on there that you haven't watched yet, and obviously I haven't either. So if you guys see any shows that you want us to watch on Netflix, we can go down that rabbit hole if we want to, and be good people. Love your face.
Goodbye.